Welcome to this YouTube channel. In this video we are going to talk about the lifestyle of Robert De Niro. Before starting this video, like this video and subscribe to our channel for future updates. Mr. De Niro is away. That's all I could get about him from his secretary over the phone. Mr. De Niro is out of the country. Trixie Bourne smiled. He was there last week, she said, confirming my suspicions. He's in. Then she stopped. Bourne used to work for Jack Nicholson and Steve McQueen, so she is wary of revealing too much. I imagined her in De Niro's huge Tribeca loft, with roof garden and gym. Taking phone messages. I'll have to get back to you, or we'll see about that, are apparently her standard responses. A friend says Bobby never answers his own phone, and you never call him. A journalist told me De Niro picked up the wrong receiver. He shrugged. Yeah, hello. This is Bob. Trixie, it is. Bobby would bring his father's sketches to auditions. I'm Bob De Niro, and you've probably heard of my dad. So Trixie cancels De Niro's business appointments, reschedules them, then cancels them again. Stars can be regal. Trixie finally tells De Niro's manager, J. Julian, Bobby's in South America, when Julian begs her to. Mr. De Niro will probably never talk to you, but he is giving you permission to talk to his friends, Trixie assures me after weeks of calls and letters. Bobby De Niro was ejected early. Friends say he was never coddled. He was fixated with tracing his roots. He hitchhiked from Ireland to Italy one summer to find relatives. He found the De Niro clan in Campobasso, between Naples and Rome. He then went to see his father in France. Landscapes, nudes, portraits, still lives, and still lives were all painted or sketched by De Niro Sr., but he was barely surviving. It was a nightmare, he told New York Post reporter Jerry Tolmere, but he kept going. It was life or death to him, one buddy added. Bob encouraged his father to exhibit his paintings in Paris and New York. He even brought back color slides of some of the paintings. He would often bring a portfolio of his father's sketches to auditions. Hello, he said, I'm Bob De Niro, and you've probably heard of my dad. In his early career, De Niro reportedly bought both of his parents' lofts. They haven't remarried. They are still good friends and see a lot of their child. Robert De Niro had a bad decade in the 1980s. John Hinckley tried to kill Ronald Reagan in March 1981. Federal investigators later learned that he was inspired by De Niro's portrayal of the psychotic loner Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver. The film was eventually shown to a Hinckley jury as evidence. Taxi Driver attracted widespread controversy. Can a picture drive someone to murder? Which enraged De Niro. People on the street demanded De Niro recite Bickle's famed line, "You talkin' to me? Don't they know I'm not him?" De Niro asked. Never mention Taxi Driver to Robert, director Ulu Grossbard warned. He becomes enraged. He gets enraged if someone mentions his pal John Belushi. De Niro sobbed after the legendary comic died of cocaine and heroin poisoning in March 1982, afraid of the lady Belushi was with. He had fled the Chateau Marmont hotel the night before his death. Hollywood started hearing about De Niro's cocaine use while he was filming Falling in Love with Meryl Streep. But that's absurd, exclaimed director Ulu Grossbard. I know, I acted in every scene. According to Judy Belushi, De Niro replied to her question about his cocaine use, "Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't," in late 1982. De Niro tried to distance himself from show business after Belushi died. He grew his hair shoulder length and went to Colombia to play a slave trader turned priest in Roland Joffe's The Mission. There were floods, terrible rains, and temperatures of 110 degrees, recalls Mission co-producer David Putnam, now head of Columbia Pictures. Except for Bob, everyone had dysentery. He is quite well-groomed. Bob's commitment to the mission was extraordinary, he added. He read every actor for Roland Joffe for 8 weeks. He spent hours with Daniel Berrigan, the film's radical Jesuit priest consultant. Kirkland used to spend hours telling De Niro about her ambitions and dreams. Even though she has appeared in hundreds of plays and movies, she has lost film roles despite her best efforts. "You are giving away too much," De Niro said. "Retain something suspicious, less obnoxious." De Niro pauses. He is a quiet man who rarely expresses emotion. Shelley Winters recalls, "At a party I threw for my theatrical waifs, Bobby was waiting for a girl he liked. She arrived after dessert was served. Having forgotten she was supposed to meet him, he walked into my room and smacked the headboard." The actor in him might be equally intense. He once auditioned for Brian De Palma, a struggling young director. "Bobby was shy and introverted at first. I replied yes when he wanted to do something else for me. He went out to prepare and took his time. His entrance was followed by the rabble-rousing monologue from Waiting for Lefty. He was amazing." De Niro then featured in 3 of De Palma's early films, The Wedding Party, Greetings, and Hi, Mom. In the latter 2, he portrayed a dejected Vietnam vet who turns to pornography and urban warfare. His per-film wage was $50. He befriended De Palma. "We spent a lot of time in NYC and LA. We were continuously looking for work." De Niro was given Taxi Driver by Paul Schrader. "It was the best I'd ever read. I doubted the film would be made, but Bobby could do it." De Niro was working on his own script about a would-be assassin, but he didn't tell De Palma. Knowing Bobby takes years because he is so silent. Off-Broadway, he began to portray relentless talkers. These included Billy Bailey at the American Place Theater and Shelley Winters' one-night stands of a noisy passenger. De Niro had to chop a board in half in the performance, so he practiced karate nightly. Winters had gotten him a role in Bloody Mama, about the notorious Southern gangster Ma Barker and her 4 demented sons. De Niro played Lloyd Barker, a nasty, morphine-dependent killer who overdoses. "Bobby left early for the Ozarks to tape accents," says Winters. "Adopt a persona." She recalls a spat with Winters. "I thought he was overly focused on the externals, his body, but he's a wizard. He can flush or whiten, but he had sores. He didn't eat and merely drank water, losing 30 pounds, to appear addicted. Oh, and he almost killed us. He had to drive us in one scene. Video rolls. We're suddenly careening around this field, and he's lost control. Bobby, do you know how to drive?" I whispered. "No way, I'm from NYC. I can't drive." I screamed. After that, Roger Corman wanted to do another take, but I told him we might lose 2 key cast members. She dated De Niro back then, but she disputes it now. "The son I never had. He needed to be looked after. Bobby must have looked up to me back then. I spent a lot of time with him and his then girlfriend Diane Abbott. We had great weekends. We used to bring big bags of cracked crab and iced white wine out to this quirky beach in California we dubbed Doggy Beach. My daughter, Victoria, and I shared a hut in Beverly Hills. She was a baby. I used to feed actors. This was around the Godfather's time. When Al Pacino and De Niro are free, Winters cooks Thanksgiving dinner. De Niro's career soared. One critic said his 1973 performance in Scorsese's Mean Streets exploded like a shotgun blast. In 1975, he won an Oscar for his portrayal of the young Corleone in The Godfather, Part 2. A mere 8 words of English in the film, the rest he spoke in perfect Sicilian dialect. He also viewed a DVD of Brando as the aging Godfather 50 times to prepare for the role. During the shoot, he reportedly bombarded Godfather director Francis Coppola with questions about the role. "I didn't want to be Brando as a young man," De Niro explained. "It was a math problem." De Niro has the physical daring, grace, and instinct to become a great actor, perhaps as great as Brando, noted New Yorker reviewer Pauline Kael. "I don't think he knows how good he is." Lee Strasberg adored De Niro. They were both nominated for Oscars for their roles in Godfather 2. In fact, Lee remarked, "Bobby deserves it, and he will." Anna Strasberg recounted, when De Niro won, Strasberg invited him to join the actor's studio. De Niro then worked constantly. A film like Elia Kazan's The Last Tycoon would be followed by the epic 1900, in which he played an Italian aristocrat. In between, he'd fly back to New York to his cheap West 14th Street flat, or hide out in Malibu with Brian De Palma. Margot Kidder, and Taxi Driver producers Julia and Michael Phillips. I recall very serious political debates, De Palma recounted. De Niro married Diane Abbott in 1976. He adopted Dina, her first marriage's daughter, and they had Raphael in 1977. Actress and model Abbott starred with De Niro in 3 films: Taxi Driver, King of Comedy, and New York, New York. They rented a Bel Air mansion and lived there with friends and pets, including a green parrot. When they relocated, their landlord sued them for $10,000, saying their cats defiled the house, clawed at the rugs, draperies, and furniture. He had 11 films by 1977. Il était un star. With the exception of an unpleasant but revealing debate with Barbara Goldsmith in Parade in 1984, he has not given extended interviews to the press since. De Niro agreed to be interviewed after reading my New York Times essay about celebrity, says Goldsmith. He thought I understood our culture's celebrity phenomenon. John Belushi was a dear buddy, and largely private. He understood Belushi's plight. Being a celebrity in 1982, De Niro had recently received the Academy Award for Best Actor for his role in Raging Bull. When he was in Los Angeles, he saw Belushi. In his biography of Belushi, Wired, Bob Woodward mentions 2 occasions when De Niro did cocaine with Belushi. Together they'd party at the Playboy Mansion or on the rocks on Sunset Boulevard. It was Belushi's favorite hangout since he and his celebrity friends could dine and drink without bothering their adoring followers. De Niro admired Belushi's flamboyant nature and self-destructive rebelliousness. De Niro was wary. What do you think about this video? Do let us know down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.